Hey Tribe, it's Steph and welcome to your Vinyasa flow. So when we say take your Vinyasa or move through a Vinyasa flow in class, we want to show you what that means and show you your options. So we're going to start on the mat in a tabletop position. So we've talked about in our breakdown videos how we want our hands to be in that carrier arm position. So doing that little check, making sure the wrists are coming out away, and that's where our hands are when we come to our table, down dog, etc. So from here, start to just kind of sway a little bit, shake it out, move through the spine, move through the hips. So we're just starting with some neutralization, softening the elbows, starting to warm up the body. Start to find your breath, breathing in and out. Just moving naturally. So from here, we're going to find our table, engaging through the core, soften the elbows, and send your right leg back. Inhale, press away. As you exhale, soften the elbows and hug your knee in towards your chest. So I'm drawing in and out. Inhale, send it back, making sure that hip isn't opening. Spacing down, exhale, hug in. One more, inhale. Exhale, this time hug the knee towards your chest and step your right foot to replace your right hand. Finding a little rock here. Now you can always add in some blocks if you'd like. So that is an option. Just finding a little rock forward and back. The back foot could be flexed or you could release the top of the foot. Now making sure that the back knee is about underneath the hip, rise up and find your low lunge with the back knee down. Inhale, exhale, pull the hands towards your hips. Inhale, and as you pull, think about drawing back, engaging through the shoulders, getting that pulling action. Drawing the shoulder blades together. One more. Inhale it up, and then exhale, bring the hands back down. You can remove the blocks if you have them. And then as you send your right leg back to table, engage through the core and through the hip, moving gently back to tabletop. From here, we're going to send the hips back a little bit, so you might find a full child's pose, or maybe a half dog, sending the hips back and up, but reach through the arms, making sure the hands are in that wide position. So we're inhaling, and as we exhale, we're going to lift through the front spine and wave your spine forward, finding your plank on your knees. Draw the shoulders back. Inhale here as you exhale, slowly lower all the way down through that slow lower push-up or chaturanga. And then walk your hands out wide, maybe off the mat for a few cobra waves. Think about inhaling, and as you exhale, draw in and up as you lift to engage the core and make sure you're not dumping into the low back. Only lifting as high as you need to so that you're not feeling this in the back, but you're decompressing the spine. It should feel good. Only lifting as high as you need to, and then drawing the hands back in so you're at the bottom of your push-up. Inhale, prepare, lengthen through the back of your neck so you're not dumping down. And exhale, press back to your plank, engage, and then walk it back to table. Let's do that neutralizing, just kind of swaying up the hips, the shoulders. We're gonna go into the other side. So softening the elbows, send the left leg back. Inhale, press away, lengthen. Exhale, soften and hug in. Notice I'm bending my elbows during that transition to create space to eventually step my left foot, then to replace my left hand. Finding that little rock here again, if you want to add in your blocks, you can. Just neutralizing, warming up the hips and the hamstrings. And then making sure that back knee is somewhere about underneath the hip, and then drawing up through the center. Inhale, lengthen, exhale. You can really think about engaging the core here as you exhale, drawing in and up, engaging through the back. You can feel my body warming already. One more, reach the arms, and exhale, bring the hands back down to the inside of that front foot. And then again, engaging, send the leg back. Let's sit back into either that half dog or child's pose, reaching through the arms, or maybe you're just coming to table on your forearms. Reach through the hands, ground into the hands. Inhale as you exhale, lift, drawing in and up. Spinal waving forward to your plank on your knees. Again, draw the shoulders back. Take the hands a little wider if you need to, and slowly lower down. Everything moving together at once. Bringing the belly down first, then the chest. Walk the hands out, maybe coming up onto your fingertips for a few cobra waves. Inhaling and exhaling as you lift, drawing in and up through the core. One more time. Walk the hands in, find the bottom of your push-up. Engage so that as you exhale, everything pushes back up together to your plank and then back to table. Let's neutralize, and you can stay right there doing all of this again, or we're gonna come into our down dog. So again, hands are wide enough, gripping the mat, tucking the toes, soften the elbows, engage, inhale. As you exhale, lift the knees to hover and send the hips back, maintaining that neutral neck and spine in down dog. Maybe do a little pedal out, a little spinal wave. And then from here, we're gonna slowly walk the feet into your hands, however you need to get to that forward fold. Maybe walking side to side, maybe it's hooking the elbows, shaking out the head and neck. Make sure to bend your knees so you're not hanging out in your low back. And then inhale, ground into your feet, activate the inner arches, let the arms hang, ground down, exhale, rolling up through the center, engaging on the way up, reaching the top, making sure the core is still engaged, we're not arching forward, shoulders relax back, maybe turning the pinkies in. Inhale, and as you exhale, bend and fold back down through the center. Inhale, place your hands on your shins, roll your shoulders back, finding your half forward fold. So we're essentially in a deadlift position here. And then bring the hands back down and step back to either tabletop or down dog. So moving into that core plank from single leg in table or down dog, soften down and send your right leg back. Making sure the hips facing down and the hips are level. Inhale, press away. Exhale, soften and hug the knee in towards your chest. Inhale, send it back. Exhale, hug it in. One more time, really hug in, lift high, and step the foot through to your hand. Again, if you need to, grab those blocks, or maybe you need to shift your pose back a little bit. Do a little rock here, forward and back. Make sure the feet are hips width. Make sure that back knee is gonna be underneath the back hip, so that when you bend down and draw up through the center, you have that nice lunge position. Inhale, reach, exhale, pulling your hands to your hips. For those fists of fire lunges, creating your breath of fire. Maybe a big exhale. One more, inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bring the hands back down. Bring the fingertips back to the mat and send it back to down dog. Now, core plank wave from the knees or from your down dog. Soften your knees and elbows, lift your hips. Keep lifting through the spine as you wave forward. Wiggle the toes back if you need to. Find your high plank. Lower the knees. Inhale, lengthen again. Exhale, slow lower down. Nice and control. The slower you go, the harder it is. This time we're gonna exhale and press back up to plank. Inhale, tuck the toes. And exhale, send it back to table or back to that down dog. Inhale, soften both knees, and exhale, step into your forward fold. Feet hips width apart, wave it out a little bit. Inhale, grounding down. Exhale, rolling up through the center. Inhale, reach. Engaging. Exhale, this time we're gonna come into our chair pose or squat. So your feet should still be hips width apart. You can hang out here, you can do some pulsing. You can move through your squat, coming up and down. And then hold that squat and fold. Inhale, find your half forward fold, lengthen. Exhale, step back to table or down dog. Again, finding that neutral position. Moving into the other side. Inhale, soften, exhale, send the left leg back, hips level. Inhale, exhale, hug the knee in, lifting high. Inhale, send it back. Notice I'm still softening through the elbows. One more. This time, hug in, lift really high, and step that foot through. Again, feel free to use your blocks if you want. Find that little rock forward and back. I can really feel my legs, my glutes, my hamstrings firing up. Maybe lift and lower that back foot to figure out where it needs to be. Feet are hips width apart, bend both knees, back knee under the hip, roll the shoulders back, draw up through the center. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. towards your hips. Notice how my shoulder blades are drawing back, getting that pulling motion. Moving dynamically creates more heat and power and strength through your muscles. One more, hold it up. Exhale, bring it back down to the mat. Set the blocks aside, send it back to down dog. From knees or toes, let's take that full plank way. Soften the knees and elbows, lift the hips, keep hugging in, waving forward, maybe wiggling the toes back. Find your high plank, lower the knees, inhale, lengthen, exhale, slow lower down. As slow as you can go. Whew. Inhale at the bottom, exhale, press back to plank. Tuck the toes, send it back to down dog. Take a big cleansing breath in. Exhale it out your mouth. Bend your knees and elbows, soften. Step into forward fold. Grounding down, feet hips width. Roll up through the center. Inhale, reach. Exhale, sit back in your squat. Again, you can hold this. Maybe you want to move through it and you want to add a little heel lift. Lots of variations here. Starting to warm up, you should feel warm. I know I am. Starting to sweat a little bit. Hold it down, inhale. Exhale, fold. Find your half forward fold. Lengthen. Step back to down dog. And then lower the knees to table. Either stay here, come down into your forearms, or sit all the way back. Find whatever resting pose you'd like, and then come back to your breath. So that is one full flow. We showed you from the knees, and then I showed you from your toes or down dog. So you can always mix up the variations there. Do what you need to do for your body that day, but that would be a Vinyasa flow or a sun salutation in our style of functional flow. So it's not about moving fast, it's about moving with your breath, moving dynamically, engaging the muscles, and that's really, then after that is when you're gonna move into your more kind of power poses or practice because your body's all warmed and ready to rock.